Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our August 4th council meeting. Our first order of business on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance, so please rise. I pledge allegiance to the republic
which stands
indivisible, with liberty and for all. Second item on our agenda is the reading of the Sunshine Statement and roll call by our municipal clerk, Mrs. Lauren Statz.
This meeting of the Dunellen Borough Council is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of August 4th, 2025 was included in a list of meetings that was advertised in the Courier on January 9th, 2025, and as a teleconference was noticed on the official Dunellen website on August 1st, 2025, and on the public bulletin board on North Avenue on August 1st, 2025, and has remained continuously posted as the required notice. Mayor Salento,
Present.
Council President Sigmund,
Here.
Mrs. Albertson,
Here.
Mrs. Lance,
Here.
Mrs. Rios,
Here.
Mr. Scott,
Here.
and Mr. Vandermark.
here.
Okay. Item number 3 on our agenda, we have 2 presentations this evening. First is a presentation on the lead service line replacement program by New Jersey American Water. So we have members up front. The floor is yours. Do we have it on the TV? Perfect.
You want us to? I'll just hold it. Okay. I want to have my back.
That's all right.
All right. I don't know where to stand. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Chelsea Culp. I'm the Director of Communications and External Affairs for New Jersey American Water. Thank you for having us here today to talk about our lead service line replacement program that's going to be coming or is kind of already here in some way, shape, or form. But today we're just going to give a little bit of overview why we're doing it, the importance of it, and some specifics around our outreach in Dunellen specifically, and then here to answer any specific questions. Montana Construction is with us today in case there's any questions specific to the construction component after myself and Christine give the presentation on the beginning parts. But I'm going to pass to Christine to introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Christine Ballard. I'm with CDM Smith. I'm the engineer working on the lead service line program with New Jersey American Water. We'll go ahead. Down. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So some of you may or may not know that in 2021, Governor passed a law requiring replacement of all lead and galvanized service lines. Part of the, in this image, you can see there's 2 parts to the service line. There's a portion that is the water utilities ownership from the water main to the curb. And then there's a portion that's the customer's ownership from the curb into the home. Under the replacement law, the entire portion of the lead service line, whether it's the company side or the customer side, must be replaced if it's found to be lead and galvanized. That sounds great, except we don't know where a lot of them are because the utility never had to keep track of the customer side of the service line. So that kind of segues into a little bit about what we're trying to do here in an effort to find and replace all lead and galvanized service lines by the requirement of 2031.
I'm gonna stand up here. So my apologies if my back is towards someone at some point. But one thing I will mention, we've been communicating about this program for a few years now since it launched in 2022. So your residents that might be online, you might have seen social content around it. You might have received letters in the past, specifically last year around the November timeframe. We were required to, and you can kind of see it up on the slide, we were required to send a letter out to any resident that had a portion of their service line unknown. Since 2022, we've been sending it out. If you have a lead or galvanized line, you've been receiving a letter from us annually. So the reason I'm saying that is because this month you'll probably be receiving that letter if you're on one of those 2 lists. So really if you get an unknown letter, definitely take advantage of this program that we're going to be talking about, because the more efficient we are at identifying the lines, the better and more efficient we can be when we come to replace them. The more we know, the better organization we can have. So this is just some background around kind of why we're here today, and some history behind the program. So as Christine mentioned, in 2022 of July, we were working with the DEP to try to figure out a way we can prioritize how we were going to manage our entire service area across the state. We have now 33 PWS IDs, and it was determined back in 2022 that rather than being able to do it statewide and identify lead and go prioritization based on equity and different parameters, we had to look at it per PWS ID. And you can see on the screen that, again, this is just really background information. So we took a lot of data with the help of CDM Smith based on census data to really prioritize all the communities that we serve throughout the state of New Jersey to kind of come up with that prioritization model per PWS ID to adhere to the requirement of the law, which was you had to replace 10% per PWS ID per year. Very complicated, with the goal of getting everything out by 2031. And I'm going to pass it over to Christine, who's going to talk specifically around the plan in Maplewood, or Dunellen. Scratch that. Sorry about that. That was my laugh.
Sorry. Okay. So we have a methodology that we've been doing to try and get the information that we need to identify service lines. And we have a huge communication cascade, which includes everything from postcards you may have already received, letters from the utility, but also now layered on with door-to-door canvassing, and eventually test pits for people who are non-responsive, or if there's a company side that we need to know. And then we also have replacement agreements. If we find lead or galvanized, we can sign people up right away and get you on the list to be replaced. And then all of that material is translated in Spanish. So what that means for folks in Dunellen, we will have systematically people going door to door in the neighborhoods. We would like to work, hand in hand with the borough officials, so they know where we are every week. We give an update to borough officials, which roads we're going to be on in a particular week, and then we'll go door to door in that area. We leave a door hanger behind so that customers say, hey, we missed you. In that door hanger, you have the option. You can call us and schedule an appointment for a time that works for you, or you can actually do this yourself. There is a self-report option in all of the communication materials that you've received. All we need is a photo. You need to go down where your water comes in to the home, take a picture. There is a prompt to try to self-identify what the material is. Is it copper? Is it plastic? Is it lead or galvanized? And there's some information on how you can do that. But if you're nervous about it, you don't want to, certainly call us. But don't worry, if you submit a photo, you think you have copper and it's something different, we review all 100% of those photos to make sure. And if we need a follow-up picture, we reach out to people, typically via email or phone, to try and get another photo or come and help folks. So that's really the main part of what we're trying to do today. We have found it most beneficial on a town-by-town approach, because neighbors tell neighbors about the program. And then we come in, we try and go door to door, let everybody know about it. Of course, there's always some stragglers. Anyone that's identified for lead or galvanized gets put on a list. And then our friends at Montana Construction come back through and they do the replacement. The benefit of being in a community that is owned by, with the water systems owned by New Jersey American Water, is there's no out-of-pocket cost to customers to do this. There are other utilities that have to, customers have to pay for their service line replacement. This is all built into the rates that you're paying already. And the replacement is done by one of American Water's qualified contractors. So currently today, there are 1,600 customers in Dunellen where we have no service line material. And we do know of 30 that are lead and galvanized. And we would love to get agreements to replace those. And I'll hand it off to Chelsea to.
Sure. So what you can see on the screen is just some samples of different materials that you may see, as well as, so as Christine mentioned, we have postcards that will be going out. We have mailers. We'll see a large mailer there. You'll have a follow-up postcard. If you're signed up to get emails from us, you'll get an email. Again, all trying to just kind of engage with our customer base in the form in which that they might prefer. So they might want a mailer, they might like email, or they might just like scrolling Facebook and say, oh, like, you're in my community, I'm gonna click this link and I'm gonna sign up. You can see on the screen around the week of July 7th, customers did receive information about this program, just saying that it's launching and that additional communications were gonna be coming out. The week of, oh, these are out of order. The week of June 30th, so backtrack, there was the first postcard that went out, just a call to action of either self-ID or to schedule an inspection appointment. A reminder postcard that went out, and again, beginning of this month, they haven't gone out yet, but we will be sending out emails again to customers that have opted in to receive emails from us. Just again saying, if you're on our unknown list, you'll get the email saying, hey, we don't know what your service line is. Please sign up to either self-ID or to get an appointment. And customers with lead and galvanized, the call to action there would be that we believe that it's lead or galvanized. If you don't think it is, let us know and we'll come and inspect it, or sign the agreement. So when Montana and crew come through, you're on the list, right? You're ready to go. You've done everything that you needed to do. The additional items that you see on there, we have yard signs and different things as we're kind of going through the programming. Things are starting to get replaced that are accessible for customers if they want to take advantage of it. And then August 11th, we'll be doing just a follow-up postcard out to customers that we have the information for. And these are just some other materials that you'll see. You know, it's sometimes good to kind of visualize, even if it's small, what you might get after. So again, the CDM crews that are out with us, they're in co-branded material. They'll have safety vests on that are co-branded with CDM and New Jersey American Water. They'll have this information. So we have our lead fact sheet that gives general information about lead in drinking water, the agreement if your line is lead or galvanized, as well as it's kind of like the 11 by 17 document folded into a nice book that has information of just the entire process. What can you expect? A lot of the general FAQs on there, we have them available in English and Spanish. That's all pre-construction. And then when we have post-construction, you'll probably get flushing instructions. The crews will work, and I won't speak to if you guys have any specific questions, we have Montana in the room, but you'll have flushing instructions. And then after your line is replaced, you will receive a pitcher filter from us. It's required for us to give that out as per the EPA. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that your water is unsafe. It's just that we have to do it. And there's some language around there. And then if you go to the next slide, about 3 to 6 months after your replacement is done, you'll get a postcard in the mail from American Water, from our central lab, which you can kind of see on the side here. It's in English and in Spanish. And it's really just a post-project sampling. So we'll do some sampling at your home. If you fill that information out, you'll get a box in the mail that has the bottles, instructions. You'll fill it out, you mail it back to us. It's all prepaid. And then once we get your results in, you'll get that official letter from us with those sample results. Again, all requirements, but something that we really want to make it easy. And it's an opt-in for customers. They don't have to take advantage of it, but we highly encourage it. And that is our last slide. So if there's any questions.
Well, I'm going to give it to council first real quick. Any questions from mayor and council, business administrator?
Since American Water has been working in town for the last 4 or 5 years, which has been great. All the new services that have been installed, is safe to say they're all safe, right?
Yes, I kind of glanced over that. So a big other part of this for a number of years when we've been doing main replacement lines, we have been checking those services along those routes and working with homeowners on those routes if they were lead and galvanized. These are really for streets and areas where we haven't done much work. The other caveat there is that if there's any roads that were recently done prior to the legislation that maybe there was galvanized. We might not have replaced that prior, so we would want to work with you all. I don't know if that's the case. I mean, I don't want to speak. Rich Conklin is our PM for American Water for this project, so we would definitely want to look. But that's the one caveat I would say that we would work with you, especially if it's a recent. On the customer side. Thank you. Sorry. On our side, everything's been replaced.
Okay, good. That was going to be my next question.
Sorry.
We wanted to just make sure that you weren't tearing up any of the new roads that were just recently put down.
Well, yeah, we would work with you in terms of moratoriums or different things like that. And that is definitely something we would keep an eye on. But yeah, on our side, it would be taken care of.
Okay, and all the material we'll have our hands on as well, so our communications coordinator can put it out from our side as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we would actually love that. We have a canvassing link on our URL on our website, which we would happily, after the meeting, we can definitely circle back with your team to get to.
Perfect. Just send it right to Mr. Miller. Any other questions from council?
In the test pits, they're all mostly inside the curb area in somebody's front yard. Right.
So the door-to-door is to try and capture the customer side material where it's coming into the home. If someone is non-responsive or, for some reason we couldn't because it's blocked in or inaccessible, the test pit is generally in the area between the curb and the home, so we can see both sides just to verify. But yes.
I might have missed if you said it earlier, but what does PWSID stand for?
It's Public Water System ID. Yep. Thank you.
Any other members from council before I open the floor to public? Okay, public, we just ask that you state your name and address, and you can ask American Water your question.
Homer Mosley, 113 Borough Place in Dunellen. Are you looking at the pipes that go from the meter outward into? Okay, so it's nothing in terms of the internal right? Okay.
Any other questions from the public, either in chambers or online, for American Water?
I would just say spread the word. We'll work with the communications department to get a link up. And there's an easy way. We have Calendly where you can go in, you can just see the availability, schedule your own appointment online. Or if you would prefer to call, you can call us. Our folks in the office will schedule you for an appointment.
Okay.
If I could just add one more thing. There is a general email. I know for some online, if they didn't feel comfortable asking a question tonight or they think about it later, it's leadfreenj@amwater.com. It's maintained by our local team in New Jersey, our water quality staff, and we have close connections. So if there's any questions or they want to make an appointment, we would be able to help them through that means until we get all the things up online with the town.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
Without any other questions from council and public, we'll close that portion. Thank you for the presentation. We're appreciating the investments American Water has been making in Dunellen and will clearly continue to make in Dunellen. So thank you. Next on the agenda, it says long-term tax exemption for 441 North Avenue by Daniel Banker. But Mr. Banker, I'm thinking maybe we bring you in during the actual ordinance before. This is okay? It's okay. So we're going to come back to that, and we're going to go to item number 4 on the agenda, the appointments to boards, committees, and commissions. This evening, we have the appointment of Charles Lopez as Deputy CERT Coordinator. So, Mr. Lopez, why don't you join us?
No, so it's my.
I, Charles Lopez, I, Charles Lopez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
the government established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
partially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of Deputy Search Coordinator
all the duties as Deputy Search Coordinator
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank
Sure. Joe, you want to join? Over, yours.
Okay, I just wanted to say a few words about Chuck. Chuck Lopez has been an active member of the Dunellen Office of Emergency Management for the past 2 years. He also serves as a member of the Middlesex County Office of Emergency Management Auxiliary Communication Bureau and has been a licensed amateur radio operator since 2017. With over 31 years of service as an emergency medical technician and many years of experience as a dispatcher for the Woodbridge Fire Department Station 7, Chuck brings extensive hands-on experience in emergency response and communications. In addition to his emergency service background, Chuck has been a public school teacher for 23 years and currently serves as the middle school band director at the Thomas Jefferson Middle School in Edison. Chuck lives in Metuchen, Lauren, right there, at 2 champions. Management, strong, or resilient, Dunellen. That's Chuck Lopez.
Congratulations, and thank you for the work you have done and you will continue to do in your new position. So God bless you. Item number 5 on the agenda is the approval of our meeting minutes. Can I have a motion and second on regular meeting of July 7th?
Move it.
Second, Rios.
Any comments, additions, or edits to the meeting minutes as they currently stand? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark?
Yes.
Item number 6 on the agenda is the introduction of ordinances. This evening, we have 2. We have 2025-17 and 2025-18. As noted, introduced ordinances aren't fully discussed. They may be summarized, but they will be discussed and can be commented on at the next council meeting. So can I have a motion and second on 2025-17, an ordinance to amend Chapter 269 traffic to add a new Section 9.1 designated parking stalls of the Borough Code of the Borough of Dunellen?
Move it. Sigmund.
Second, Albertson.
Just a summarization of this is adding 14 stalls between North Avenue, so Route 28, and Front Street on Jackson Avenue as we're repaving it. We've recognized that there's a need for stalls there because it's almost a wild, wild west with parking over there. So we're putting this in our ordinance, and police have been consulted and parking authority, and so this will be publicly heard and possibly adopted at the next council meeting. So without further ado, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Can I have a motion and second on 2025-18, an ordinance to amend Chapter 269 Traffic, Section 26A, Bus Stop of the Borough Code of the Borough of Dunellen?
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Rios.
As we've been working with New Jersey Transit over the past couple of years, this is part of that process to formally recognize, Mr. Miller, you can correct me if I'm wrong, some designated bus stops and where their new locations will be.
Yes, that's correct, Mayor.
Okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Those ordinances will be on file at the clerk's office and online for your review, and they will be publicly heard, discussed, and possibly adopted on September 2nd at this council meeting at 7 p.m. For the public who wish to attend and make comment on them,
Which is Tuesday.
which is a Tuesday, the day after Labor Day. Item number 7 on the agenda is the adoption of ordinances. This evening, we have two. We have 2025-15 and 2025-16. Can I have a motion and second on 2025-15, an ordinance approving a 5-year tax exemption for a new multi-dwelling rental project to be constructed by Chelsea Builders LLC at 440 North Avenue pursuant to the 5-year exemption and abatement law in Chapter 115B of the Dunellen Municipal Code?
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Scott.
Before we open up the floor to the public, I'll ask that Mr. Galatio and or Mr. Banker just say a few words regarding this one. Have it to our mic.
All right, good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Sandy Galatio from Wendell's Marks Lane in Middendorf for the Borough's Redevelopment Council. So the ordinance before you is for 440 North Avenue. This is for an 8-unit residential project, one affordable housing unit, one ADA unit, and some commercial space in the ground floor. So it's new construction. The developer requested the exemption because it would help with the construction financing for the project. Otherwise, it would be difficult or not possible for them to do that. Borough has a 5-year tax exemption ordinance on the books, and the application was submitted pursuant to that. The exemption would be for 5 years, commencing on when the project is completed, and it's in the tax phase-in option, which means that it starts at 0% taxes the first year and then gradually increases to 100% by the end of it after 5 years. So unless there's any questions on it.
Well, we'll open the floor to the public solely for 2025-15. If you have any questions for Mayor and Council or Mr. Galatio himself. Without hearing any, we'll close that portion. We'll open the floor to Mayor and Council. Any questions pertaining to 2025-15 or any comments? I'll just note the word exemption sounds like they're not paying anything. They are paying to the town revenue, and they have to still pass what's called a but-for test. But for this incentive, would they be able to build the project? And so our professionals do a review on it to verify whether the developer can or cannot. And so our team has indicated that they need the incentive in order to build this project. So I'll say that's part of the Mayor and Council portion. So any other comments or questions? And there's also a community benefit, you said, going towards public pedestrian safety and streetscape improvements, correct?
Yes, Mayor. You also have on your agenda a resolution tonight to approve a first amendment to the redevelopment agreement for this project. That amendment provides for a $20,000 community benefit payment for pedestrian and traffic safety associated with the project.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Galatio. If there's no further comments pertaining to 2025-15, I'll ask that we do a roll call, please.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion and second on item 2025-16, an ordinance to approve a long-term tax exemption and financial agreement between the Borough of Dunellen and 441 North Urban Renewal LLC?
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Albertson.
Okay, before we open the floor to the public, Mr. Banker is here from our financial advisors, NW Financial, to make a presentation specifically on this item.
Good evening, Mayor, Council of Borough residents. My name is Daniel Banker, and I work with NW Financial Group as financial consultants for the borough. I'm here tonight to present the proposed redevelopment project to be located at 441 North Avenue. I'll go through our analysis, what we look at when it comes to a developer's pilot application, and how we get to the negotiated pilot terms. Oh. Here we go. So a general description of the project. The project is going to be 3 stories with a total of 62 residential units, of which 53 will be market rate. All the other 9, which is approximately 15% of the total, will be affordable. This will also include 2 retail units totaling 3,844 square feet. And there will be 68 structured parking spaces on the ground floor. This project is estimated to cost approximately $18.75 million. The proposed project will be located on block 66, lots 16, 17, and 17.01, which is approximately 0.9 acres. And those 3 lots currently consist of 1- and 2-story commercial structures. As I mentioned, the estimated project cost is $18.75 million. You'll see that on the top, you have the split between debt and equity. So redevelopment projects are typically funded by a portion of equity directly from the developer, and then a construction loan from a lender, which turns into a permanent loan. So you'll see that approximately 60% of the total project cost will come from debt, and the other 40% will be provided by the developer in equity. You'll also notice in the project cost that there is a community benefit. Similar to the prior project, the developer has agreed to make a community benefit payment of $74,200, which comes out to about $1,400 per market rate unit. I will also state that when developers submit their financials, which includes expected rents, operating expenses, costs, interest rates, cap rates, et cetera, we don't just take their word for it. We look at redevelopment projects all across the state. So we have, tons of data and databases to show what appropriate rents are, expenses, costs in today's market. So if adjustments need to be made, we make those adjustments. In this case, their estimated project cost, which comes out to about $303,000 per unit and just under $200 per square foot, that is in line with or below other recently reviewed projects. So we did not have to make any adjustments to their costs. On this slide, you'll see the developer's rent projections. So the project will consist of a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, the majority of which are 1 bedrooms. 47 of those 53 market rate units will be 1 bedrooms. And then you'll see the mix for the affordable, 1 bedroom, 5 2 bedrooms, and 3 3 bedrooms. The only adjustment that we felt was necessary to make on the rents were the 1 bedroom units. We took a look at current availabilities in the surrounding area, including Dunellen and 745 Boundbrook. The developer assumed $2,050 for the 1 bedrooms. We bumped that up to $2,150 to get to about $3 per square foot. Because although the Dunellen is a much larger, much more amenitized building, we believe that the rents can be achieved at $3 a foot, which is similar to the Dunellen, slightly lower, but similar. So this is the structure of the pilot. So this is a back and forth with developers. Typically they'll come in with a request for 30 years at 10% of gross revenue, which is the minimum under the statute. And based on the developer's returns, under their assumptions, we get to a balance between returns that are appropriate for the project, but also benefiting the borough. So under the proposed pilot, it'll be based on a percentage of gross revenue, which includes revenue from rental units, amenity fees, parking fees, et cetera. The structure is the first 10 years will be at 10%. The next 10 years will be at 11%, and the final 10 years will be at 12%. Also, as part of the statute, there's a mandatory phase-in of conventional taxes. So there are minimum and maximum lengths of each stage, and those stages are 0%, 20%, 40%, 60%, and 80%. So you'll see that, I wish I could zoom, but in any given year, the pilot is based on the greater of a percentage of revenue or a percentage of otherwise applicable taxes. And that just means what the project would pay under conventional taxes, because this property will still have an assessment on the books. And you'll notice that toward the back end in years 25, 26, and 27, that is 60% of conventional. In years 28, 29, and 30, that's 80%. As per the statute, the best case scenario for the developer is 1 year at 80 and 2 years at 60. So we've negotiated a few additional years at that higher percentage of conventional taxes. Currently, the 3 lots combined generate approximately $46,000, of which the borough share is about $12,400. The general tax rate for 2024, the split is 59% goes to the Board of Ed, 27% goes to the borough, and 14% goes to the county. Under the proposed pilot, and based on the revenue projections being used in the analysis, the gross pilot at stabilization, I want to make that clear, the pilot is based on a percentage of revenue. So it'll take some time for this building to lease up. Because the pilot is based on actual revenue received, year 1 occupancy will be lower than year 2, et cetera. So we are assuming it's going to take about a year to lease up. So in year 2, we're assuming that 95% of the building will be occupied. So that year 2 gross pilot is estimated to be about $175,000, of which the borough will receive $158,000. And that's including a 2% admin fee, which is also a requirement. So on top of the pilot, they'll be required to pay a 2% admin fee, which 100% goes to the borough. Looking at it over the 30-year term, the borough will receive an estimated $7.28 million. And if you compare that to leaving the site undeveloped as is, and assuming a 2% annual tax rate increase, the site would currently generate $502,000 over that same 30-year period. So this pilot would generate approximately $6.75 million in additional revenue to the borough over that 30-year period. So this slide is showing some of the metrics we look at when it comes to developer returns. So on the left, before we consider a pilot of any kind, we first look at the project economics under a conventional tax scenario. As the mayor mentioned, the but-for test. If not for the pilot, the project would not be built. So to determine that, we got some input from the assessor to look at how other properties are assessed. So that's that $341,000 number on the top left highlighted in green. So one of the metrics we look at is what is the project worth at stabilization? You'll see that it's basically a break even under conventional taxes. Project is going to cost $18.75 million. The project at stabilization under conventional taxes would be about $19 million. So that's one metric we look at. Typically, a developer is looking for some sort of growth in value versus what it costs to build. Then we look at IRR and yield on cost. So internal rate of return takes into account the amount of equity that the developer puts in. As I mentioned on an earlier slide, 40% is going to come from equity. And it assumes the project is sold in the 10th year. And it looks at what is that average rate of return during that 10-year period. The typical market return in IRR in today's market is somewhere between 10 to 15%. So you'll see under conventional taxes, that IRR is about 5%, well below the standard market return. So that informs us that it's a red flag about can this project succeed under conventional taxes. The next is yield on cost. That is just taking that NOI, the net operating income of 1 million and change, and dividing by the total project cost. Again, the typical market return for yield on cost is somewhere between 5.5% to 7%. So you're very low. You're at that low end for yield on cost. So again, another metric that suggests a subsidy of some kind is necessary. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, the debt service coverage ratio. That is a metric that lenders use to determine if a project can pay back the loan that was issued to the development. Lenders in today's market are looking for no less than 1.2 coverage, in many cases 1.25 or higher. And that means that if the annual debt service is $1 million, the project has to generate $1.2 million to make sure that the bank feels comfortable that the project can pay back the debt. And, in case there's additional expenses or revenues go down, that's a safeguard. So based on all of those metrics, we feel comfortable with the conclusion that it's unlikely that this project could be financed under a conventional tax scenario. So then if we go to the right, the only difference in that table is the tax line item. You'll see that under conventional taxes, they'd be paying $341,000. Under the proposed pilot, they'll be paying a little bit over half at $175,000. You'll see that the net project value is now positive $3.25 million. The IRR is still on the low end of the target market return, and the yield on cost is right in the middle of where we see a lot of other projects being built and approved. And of course, you have the debt service coverage ratio that is likely to receive the necessary funding for this project to be built. There's a lot of numbers on this slide, and I know it's kind of far away, but what this is showing is the 30-year projection of the pilot. On the far left, you have the 10%, 11%, 12%. You see the breakdown of the gross pilot. Now, this project will still be obligated to pay land taxes. So land taxes will be split conventionally between the borough, the school, and the county. And then that net pilot is the difference between the gross and the land tax credit. 95% of that amount goes to the borough. And then there's an additional 2%, and that 100% of that amount goes to the borough. So again, in year 2, the borough share is expected to be $158,000. And over the 30-year term, the borough share is expected to be about $7.3 million.
Can I just note?
Sure.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you're able to exempt the land tax credit, correct?
You are able to.
We made a decision not to do that in this proposal, so the school still gets some level of funding through this project. So I want the public to understand that too.
Absolutely, yes. Under residential projects, a municipality does have the ability to exempt the land. And in this case, it was decided that the land would continue to be taxed and the developer will receive a credit against the pilot. So they're not paying additional amounts. It's just reducing the pilot amount. But the school will still get their share, just like what they're getting right now from this property. This is a comparison of the existing taxes compared to the projected and proposed pilot. Again, over that 30-year period, current taxes would be about $1.9 million, assuming an annual 2% increase, of which the borough share would be about $500,000, as compared to the proposed pilot. Over the 30-year term, $7.9 million roughly, of which the borough share would be about $7.3 million. So again, an increase of about $6.8 million to the borough. The second part of the presentation is related to the fiscal impact of this redevelopment project. Obviously, residential redevelopment projects will generate new residents and will generate potentially public school children. So our analysis includes multipliers that are provided in the Rutgers study, Who Lives in New Jersey Housing. It's pretty much the gold standard in the industry for projecting new residents and public school children. That study was updated in 2018. Originally, it was written in the late 2000s, and it was updated in 2018 to account for new construction buildings. More recent buildings are more efficient units, smaller units, not as many 2 and 3 bedroom units. And that reduced the multipliers. They reviewed tens of thousands of units across the state and pulled actual resident and school children data from those buildings to project how many new residents and school children would come out of new redevelopment projects based on the size, whether it's rental, whether it's condo, new, old construction, and how many the different bedroom sizes. So based on those multipliers, it's projected that there will be 113 new residents and approximately 5 new public school children. You'll see as a comparison to the current population, that's about a little under 1.5% increase to the population and about 1/3% increase to the current enrollment. Once we've identified the total number of projected residents and school children, we established a methodology to project the cost of those new residents and new school children. The Division of Local Government Services has what's called the PFAF model, the Pilot Financial Agreement Forecast Model, which takes certain budgetary line items from the municipal budget that they believe are impacted by the fluctuation of the population, an increase or decrease in population. So you'll see those line items. It's not every line item from the budget, it's only specific line items. And they apply a percentage to those line items that would fluctuate based on population changes. We take that total resident portion of those budgetary line items and divide by the current population to get a per resident cost. So based on that analysis, the per resident cost is $129. So the total resident cost of those 113 projected residents would be about $15,000 a year. We then go into the cost of the new public school children. So for purposes of our analysis, we've used the total classroom instruction number of $11,205 from the 25-26 proposed user-friendly budget for Dunellen Board of Education. That number is not the total budgetary comparative per pupil, which is that $21,000 number. That $21,000 includes a lot of fixed costs that don't necessarily increase or decrease based on new school children or decrease in school children. So we're using that total classroom instruction number, which consists of salaries and benefits of teachers, general supplies and textbooks, and purchase services. We then take that $11,205 number and we apply the percentage of the school budget that comes from local sources. So the school budget, $39.56 million. A portion of that comes from local sources. A portion of that comes from the state, federal, and other sources. So of the $39.56 million budget, 34.5% comes from local sources. So the net cost per public school children comes out to about $4,000. So based on the 5 public school children that are projected, you have a school children impact when it comes to cost of about $20,000. This is just a summary of the new resident and public school children costs. And we like to show a net benefit summary. Does this project, based on the pilot terms and accounting for the costs associated with the new residents and the new school children, generate a benefit to the borough? So you'll see, if you look at row 2 for year 2, the borough share of the pilot is estimated to be about $158,000. The total costs associated to the new residents and new school children is about $34,000. The school is also going to be getting their share of the land taxes, which is about $7,600. So you end up with a borough net benefit in year 2 of about $132,000. And that net benefit increases as the pilot percentage increases, as rents increase, as the phase-in of conventional taxes comes into play. So this project under the proposed terms will generate a significant financial benefit to the borough of Dunellen. And I am happy to answer any questions from the council and the public. Thank you.
And I'll just note too, for the public, because I know the concern is school-age children. We do share our projects, what they're projecting with the school district so they can prepare themselves. And then we check in probably twice a year to see what those numbers actually equate to based upon the projections. And we've actually seen, based upon the current projects, that it's about 25% less than what was projected of school kids coming into the system. I think there's about 50 between all the projects, and that's 25% less than what was initially projected.
That's correct.
So, just so the public is aware. We will open the floor to the public to ask Mr. Banker questions or make their comments known to mayor and council before we open the floor fully to mayor and council. So, floor is the public's. We ask that you please state your name and address, whether you're here in chambers or online.
Homer Mosley, 113 Pearl Place in Dunellen. I guess one of my concerns, or rather not question I have, is how does this pilot benefit the taxpayers in Dunellen? In other words, increases or decreases?
Well, that becomes a budgetary question. If you saw the budget presentation this year and the infographics that were recently sent out in July, we've been able to help the budget with some of the pilot revenues, so there's not an increase on taxes. Moving forward, it's based upon budget constraints and needs on capital and where the overall revenue generators come from for each budget. That's determined between budgetary season, which is January to about March, April, when we discuss the budget. So currently there's about 1.4 million of pilot revenue in our budget being used to offset taxes. Moving forward, we just have to assess where we are in the near future. Well, actually, no, it is in the near future. We're less than 6 months away from it. Can you believe that, Mr. Olson? So, yeah, that's the answer. I can't say whether it's an increase or a decrease. It all depends upon the budgets, but it's revenue that we would not have had otherwise, as Mr. Banker said. Had we stayed to the conventional taxes on the project, first, the project would not have been built, but the borough would have received just over 500,000 over the 30-year period. Did I get that right?
Correct.
And now we're getting over 7 million, which is a 6 million and change increase over what the conventional tax would be. So that's what we're getting in revenue. So that does assist us with budgetary needs and constraints, as well as capital improvements throughout the town. Any other members of the public before I hand it over to mayor and council? Both in chambers and online. Without hearing any, we'll close that portion. The floor is to the mayor and council for any questions.
Right. Can you just go back to the slide that shows the rent for each unit? Yeah. Well,
This one?
no.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. I thought there was another slide that showed that. Because I saw that seemed to be a big difference between the affordable and non-affordable, I guess, or conventional. All right, so I was just wondering why they were more one-bedroom units over two-bedroom and three-bedroom units. I mean, in the research that you've done, does it seem to make more sense to have one-bedroom unit over the other options?
So I think for developers, these days especially, when it comes to returns, they'll get a higher price per square foot amount for the smaller units. So as you get to 2 and 3 bedroom units, you're not going to be able to achieve the same per square foot rent. So if they feel that they can lease up studios and 1 bedrooms, typically they'll try to put as many studios and 1 bedrooms in a redevelopment project as possible. So it is pretty standard today to see the majority of a unit mix be studios, 1s, and some 2s. It's pretty rare to see market rate 3 bedrooms in today's market as well. And the smaller unit types generate less school children, typically.
And cars.
And cars, correct. And residents. So that this isn't that unusual of a unit mix for redevelopment projects that we've reviewed.
And then comparatively speaking to the Nell, do you see that more one-bedroom units are being rented out versus 2 and 3? Or I don't know if there are 3-bedroom units. Are there?
There's a few in the affordables.
So I believe the council received a memo that we prepared in mid-July. And sorry, I didn't include it in the presentation, but there was on page 3 of the memo, we did list the current available units at some of the comps, including the Nell. What's interesting, and I don't remember the exact unit mix of the Nell, so I don't know how many 1-bedrooms there are versus 2-bedrooms. But currently, well, as of about 2 weeks ago, there were significantly more 1-bedrooms available at the Nell than 2-bedrooms. They had 3 available 2-bedrooms, whereas they had, looks like about 7 or 8 available 1-bedrooms. I'm guessing they have significantly more 1-bedrooms at the Nell than they do have 2-bedrooms. So it's very consistent with other redevelopment projects.
So if it is consistent with other redevelopment projects, and we're seeing that in this community, there might not be the same interest for the 1-bedroom, then would it be wise to still have that many units, 1-bedroom?
Well, the merit of this is to talk about the financial agreement of the project, because this project's already been approved, it's zoned, it's done. So, but for future projects, that's something maybe to have a discussion on.
Nothing else to add then.
Any other questions?
I do have a question. Do we know how many units there are currently in the space that this is going to take up?
So I think it's 1-story commercial building and 2 2-story commercial buildings. I don't know if there's residential units currently existing on the 2nd floor of one of the commercial buildings. There may be, but I don't know the answer of exactly how many units there are.
That was it for me. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions from council? Mr. Olson, any questions from finance?
Sure, yeah. So as I mentioned, it's pilot, and the majority of other pilots are based on a percentage of gross revenue. So someone might ask, what if you don't know exactly what the revenue is? So the pilot bills that go out are based on an estimate of what revenue will be. You don't know exactly what rents are going to be, before they're achieved. So every pilot bill every year is based on an estimate. At the end of the year, officially within 90 days of the end of the calendar year, the developer is required to submit an independent certified audit by a certified public accountant that verifies what the actual revenues were for the prior year. So, for example, if the revenue that's estimated to be generated is $1 million and the pilot's 10%, that pilot would be $100,000. When that audit is provided, if that audit says the revenue is $2 million, now that 10% pilot should have been $200,000. The borough will prepare a true-up bill for an additional $100,000, and the developer will be obligated to pay that amount. So that audit allows the municipality to feel confident that all revenues generated by the project will be used when calculating the pilot. And that's done in every municipality because, again, the pilot bill is an estimate of revenue, and the true up in the audit is to confirm what that actual pilot amount is.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Okay, without hearing any, we'll go for a roll call, please. Thank you,
Mrs.
Dan.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark? Mr. Vandermark?
Yes.
Okay, item number 8 on our agenda is resolutions. We have resolutions 278 through 295. Mrs. Stats, if you could read through them, give council the opportunity to ask any questions or make comments on them.
Sure. Resolution 278 is to pay the bill.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second, Albertson.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 279 is to accept the resignation of Maria J. Santos as Assistant Tax Collector and Administrative Support Specialist.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second, Rios.
We thank Mrs. Santos for her work here in Dunellen, and we wish her well on her next endeavor.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Sorry, Mr.
Yes.
Position has been, sorry, Mr. Miller, Mr. Vandermark voted yes. Okay. Right, Councilman Vandermark, you voted yes?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I stepped over you on that one. Mr. Miller, the job posting's up for this position?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Resolution 280 is authorizing the credit of tax appeal judgments in the amount of $4,504.53 pertaining to multiple properties in the Borough of Dunellen.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second, Rios.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark. Mr. Vandermark? Resolution 281 is to approve the change of Kelly Cedar's job title from Recreation Program Coordinator to Recreation Director.
Move it, Albertson.
Second, Sigmund?
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 282 is to approve the change of William George's job title from Communications Coordinator to Public Information Officer.
Move it, Albertson.
Second, Sigmund?
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 283 is approving a second amendment to the redevelopment agreement by and between the Borough of Dunellen and Chelsea Builders LLC.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second, Rios.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 284 is to award an emergency contract to Stillo Paving and Excavating for a sewer repair on Grove Street.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second, Scott?
Mr. Miller, can you address this one? Thanks, Sandy.
About a month ago, we found out that there was a break in the sewer main over on Grove Street, Newmarket, Prospect that. Due to the severe sewer issue that we have, and that we have in place about 100 feet of sewer. So, I don't think emergency appropriation to fix that section. Sewer.
Okay. Council? Okay.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 285 is approving a car show for the Dunellen Downtown Management Organization on October 12th, 2025.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second, Scott?
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 286 is to accept the resignation of Sylvia Santa Maria as janitor/custodian.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Albertson.
Just like to note, we wish Mrs. Santa Maria well on her next endeavors, and we thank her for her service to the Borough of Dunellen for the time she was here.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 287 is authorizing the award of a contract for appraisal services.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Albertson.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 288 is authorizing the award of professional service contract for feasibility studies at various borough locations.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Rios?
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 289 is authorizing the award of professional services contract for sewer system evaluation services.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Scott.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 290 is authorizing the award of a professional service contract for sewer system evaluation services.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Albertson.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 291 is authorizing the award of a professional service contract for the preparation of sanitary sewer system capital improvements plan.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Scott.
Albertson.
That is Mr. Scott.
Scott? Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 292 is authorizing a request to extend NJDOT fiscal year 2024 local transportation project fund, South Washington Avenue and New Market Road.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Rios?
So pertaining to this resolution, this project was prepared to go out for this year, but we're asking for the extension from the NJDOT fiscal year 2024 local transportation project fund. And this is the rapid beacon lights at Orange and New Market, and also, no, Orange and South Washington and Grove and New Market. Because we've been in conversations with the county. They're going to do a whole traffic engineering and traffic light proposal and project along New Market. Our conversation with them was we should probably try and do all of that in coordination at the same time. So that would require us to postpone that project to fit in line with their project. So it's a matter of making it all make sense together. So that's why we're asking for the extension. Clearly, if the state denies the extension, we're going to go ahead with the project. But I think we have a good argument on why we would coordinate our efforts with the county. So.
Okay, I'll take a roll. Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 293 is authorizing the hire of Brenda Green as custodial staff for the Borough of Dunellen.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Albertson.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 294 is to approve a clothing bin permit for the American Recycling Resources.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Scott.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Abstain, place of employment?
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Resolution 295 is approving a car show for Carl's Custom Classics on September 14th, 2025.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second Rios. Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Item number 9 on the agenda is our consent agenda. We have resolutions 296 through 301. Before we move forward with a motion and second, are there any items on this consent agenda that council would like removed that we can discuss separately?
Yes, number 300, please. Just all lines.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, without hearing any, we will vote on, can I have a motion and second on the consent agenda for 296 through 299, inclusive of 301?
Move it, Sigmund?
Second Rios.
Okay,
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
okay, can I have a motion and second on resolution 300?
Move it, Sigmund?
Second, Scott?
And Mrs. Albertson, I assume your request was so for your
Just I can abstain.
abstain, okay, thank you. We'll keep that in mind for future
Yes.
agendas. We'll put on regular business. Okay, any discussion on this item outside of that? Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Albertson?
Abstain.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Item number 10 are council reports. Councilwoman Albertson, anything to report this evening?
Yes, I have a long one, fire department first. Okay, fire department responded to 133 calls for service in July. Total calls for 2025 are now 322. All of 2024 was only 310. Been a busy year. Good intent were 15 calls. False alarm was 19. Natural disasters were 80. EMS was 1. Fire was 6. Service calls 4. Hazmat 8 for a monthly total of 133. On the 3rd of July, the crews staffed the apparatus from 6 p.m. on the 3rd through the weekend, responding to emergencies related to the storm from 6 p.m. 7:03 through 7:05. The fire department responded to 61 emergency incidents, ranging from trees into structures to wires down on the roadway. On September 14th, the storm response, the crews staffed the apparatus from 6 p.m. on the 14th through the 17th, responding to emergencies related to the storm. From 6 p.m. 7:14 through 7:17, the fire department responded to 48 emergency incidents, ranging from wires down to numerous water rescues. Water rescues were performed by our high water vehicle, fire apparatus, and by boat. In addition to the water rescues, we were requested into Plainfield for a second alarm warehouse fire on North Avenue, just into Plainfield. We dispatched an engine and truck to assist the city. These two incidents resulted in a combined 109 emergency responses in a very short time period. I would like to commend, Chief Scott would like to commend every volunteer member of the fire department that responded during these incidents and for ensuring the safety of our residents. In addition to emergency responses, the fire department attended several events and held several drills during July. 7:10, they held a probationary member drill with forcible entry. 7:13, they did their monthly officers meeting. 7:16, they held a work drill, which was storm cleanup. 7:23 and 7:27 were monthly instruction drills, SCBA radio communications. 7:24, they held a probationary, oh my God, member drill, SCBA confidence. And 7:30, they held their monthly fire company meeting. They're happy to see a number of residents continue to join the department over the past few months, and new members will be attending fire school in the upcoming months. Fire department is still looking for new members to join. Membership is open to anyone 16 to 18 as a junior member, and full member is open to anyone over 18. Visit their website, www.dunellenfd.com, or email joinfd@dunellen.com for more information. Dunellen Arts and Inclusion and Culture Committee has reminds you that Music in the Park is August 7th through the 21st at 7 p.m. That will be the end of their Music in the Park programs for the summer. Carol Fest on August 24th at the Dunellen American Legion. There will be a fundraising music festival from 1 to 9 p.m. for the Carol Fund. Established in 2002 in memory of Carol Bylick, a special education aide at Dunellen High School, the Carol Fund has been helping students and community members in need. Whether it is a fire, flood, serious illness, help with getting food, or assisting with students' needs, the Carol Fund will step up to help. And the Municipal Alliance is having their annual overdose awareness ceremony Thursday, August 28th at 6 p.m. at Washington Memorial Park. Please join us. That's it for me.
2002? That's when
Since 2002, yes.
Wow,
we have
it's been
been
that
for, like 23 years we've been doing this.
Wow. Well, thank you for continuing it, and in Mrs. Bylick's honor. Councilwoman Rios?
Yes, Buildings and Grounds report. Following the July 3rd windstorm, Public Works and Rich Tree Service successfully removed several fallen trees at McCoy Park. In coordination with PSENG, a fallen tree was also removed from Gavornik Park. Additionally, damaged trees throughout the park will continue to be addressed as needed. PARSA supervised silo evacuation. Yeah. I'm like, what? Stylo excavation during the sewer main repair on Grove Street. They will continue to oversight of the New Jersey American Water main and service installation on Grove Street and South Avenue. Work is also beginning on Bach Place, right? Bache. On Bache Place and New Market Road, details of which will be shared shortly by Mayor Salento. Dunellen Public Library, in partnership with OEM, the Dunellen Public Library will host a CPR certification course on Wednesday, August 6th, from 5:30 to 8:30. The cost is $35. This course is open to individuals age 13 and older who are interested in becoming CPR certified. It is especially beneficial for those looking to gain hands-on skills and knowledge to respond effectively to cardiac arrest and choking emergencies. Participants will receive certification within 48 hours of course completion. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Speaking of OEM, we have to put together our mayoral town hall on emergency services and storm preparedness. So let's aim for September. Is that good? Well, not too early. I go on vacation the beginning of September. So, thank you. Councilman Vandermark?
Yes, I got. All right. Let me pull it up.
Anything to report? I'm sorry, Councilman. Do you have a report this evening?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
It's for First Aid Squad. They had over 1,600 volunteer man hours. They responded to 40 calls, including 2 motor vehicle accidents, 2 calls for allergic reactions, and staffing the shelter until relieved by CERT. Our primary ambulances has been restored to service after the damage is sustained during the July storms. We look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow at National Night Out, which brings me to the police report. Police report, join us tomorrow night at Columbia Park for National Night Out, sponsored by the Dunellen Police Department, and other organizations will be there to join in. It's a nice night, hopefully a nice night out tomorrow night. And that would be my report.
Okay, Councilman, good to hear from you and looking forward to you being back in the chamber soon. Councilwoman Lance?
Yes, the Dunellen Recreation Commission has 2 more weeks of summer camp. This year, they had over 55 registered campers, and they've had a great summer so far, which has included trips to Runaway Rapids, Branchburg, Sports Complex, theme days, scavenger hunts, and more. Tomorrow, campers are going to the Somerset Patriots game for the AA Subway Series game, followed by the water park on Wednesday. Registration is open for fall soccer grades pre-K through 8th. The deadline to register is next Monday, August 11th. Do not miss out on this program. And as always, our volunteer coaches are essential in providing these great recreational opportunities. Dunellen Recreation will be participating in Somerville's new Fall Ball League, similar to our Spring League. Games will take place on Saturdays and practices will be held once a week at the discretion of the coach. We would like to have a team at the rookie level, grades 1 through 3, the minor league level, grades 4 to 5, and the major league level, grades 6 to 8. Volunteer coaches will also be needed for the softball teams. So if you are interested in volunteering, please email Rec Program Coordinator Kelly Cedar at kcedar@dunellenborough.com. And finally, the Recreation Department looks forward to supporting our police department on National Night Out tomorrow night. And we hope to see the community come out for this annual event at Columbia Park at 6 p.m. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Council President Sigmund?
Yes, I just want to thank and commend Homer Mosley and the CERT members, as well as the American Red Cross and Alex and Jason for their efforts in that second of the storms with all the flooding and setting up the shelter. It was unfortunate, but it was great to see all of the hard work that you guys put in. So thank you. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Scott?
For DPW, they routinely clean the downtown area and all the borough parks and properties, weekly lawn maintenance and landscape for the parks and properties. The DPW crew was called out for the July 14th flood to help close roads and assist EMS teams. Interesting fact here, the DPW has picked up over 150,000 pounds or approximately 80 tons of household flood debris over the last 2 weeks, which is approximately 90% of the debris. And they expect the last 10% to be picked up over the next week. A lot of debris. Good job. Crew walked the brooks and streams, removed any debris blocking the water flow, removed a few blockage at the headwalls following the July 14th flood. And the ongoing curbside branch pickup from the July 3rd storm is continuing. So on top of the flood debris, they're still picking up tree branches. And they expect to complete the pickup within the next few weeks. For the mechanic department, they've serviced the fleet and DPW police fleet and DPW vehicles as they come due for maintenance or breakdowns. They've serviced all the lawn equipment for continued operation throughout the season. Greased and top off the fluids on the Packer unit roll-off and the rented skid steer to aid in continued performance during the storm cleanup of the town. They diagnosed and repaired the overheating and air conditioning issues with the sweeper, along with fixing hydraulically. Diagnosed and repaired the senior bus for a no-start, no-code condition. And the mechanics also assisted DPW laborers in their efforts to clean the debris of the rubbish and branches. Just a reminder, the annual free household rubbish disposal starts September 13th and will continue through October 18th. Please check the borough website for more information, including what can and cannot be dumped and which Saturday is your assigned Saturday to drop off the DPW yard. And that's my report.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. I'll reiterate, I hope to see everybody at the National Night Out tomorrow night at Columbia Park, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. As a reminder, for recycling, as of August 1st, the MCIA has officially switched to the automatic side load or ASL for Dunellen's recycling collection. The collection will begin on August 13th and residents are reminded to use the new 95-gallon bins that were delivered to them in July. If you've not yet received your bin, please call Dunellen Borough Hall at 732-968-3033 so we can inform the MCIA and they can ensure that you get it before the next collection. Please note that bins are still being distributed by IWS on behalf of MCIA. All the recycling must be placed inside the bin since the ASL truck uses a mechanical arm to pick up the bins. The MCI will not be able to collect any items placed outside of your bin. So just as a reminder, storm cleanup, as Councilman Scott said, DPW continues their daily cleanup after the two storms, and they'll continue to do so. And residents may place their flood damaged and tree debris, excluding stumps, at the curb for pickup. So just please note for the public that the collection is only for items damaged by the storm or flooding. We did have Red Cross in and we've assessed the entire town. So we do know what we'll label the red target areas of where there are actual damage and flooding. We know where we're going to be picking up. So let's not take advantage of it because our regular roll-off dates are in September and based on your street, and you can visit that on our website. So let's all pull together as a community and just let those who are vulnerable and had damage during the storm take the benefit of the pickup at their curb because that's just the right thing to do. And if you didn't have damage, get the benefit of the free roll-off in September and October. 2nd Street DOT project from Schwartz Place to Madison Avenue. After the project was delayed by both the July 3rd and 14th storms, the contractor Crossroad Paving reassumed work on Friday, August 1st, replacing sewer manhole castings and covers. Today, the contractor started the milling phase of the project, and tomorrow will be the paving phase of the project. The 2nd Street Mill and Pave project from Schwartz Place to Dunellen and Middlesex border, because remember, we had to view them as separate projects because of the grant and bidding specs related to the grant. We are waiting on confirmation from the contractor, but we do anticipate the project being done this week, both milling and paving by Garden State. New Jersey American Water project update and water service installation will continue to take place on Walnut Street between Prospect Avenue towards Newmarket Road. Then the crew will focus on the water services on South Avenue and Grove Street towards Newmarket Road. Their goal is to complete the services on those streets before Faber School fully opens up for the new school year. This week, New Jersey American Water will start water main installation on Beach Place and Newmarket Road from Dunellen Piscataway border to South Washington Avenue. The project will be replacing water mains from 1940s with new 8-inch water main along all new residential water services and 4 new fire hydrants. So to date, that's over $20 million they've spent in Dunellen over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, Mayor, it's pretty close to that number.
Okay. Middlesex County Mill and Pave shared service project, Jackson Avenue from North Avenue to Dead End. That contractor, Garden State Paving, has confirmed that they will start this project on the week of August 25th. As part of Phase 1, Garden State Paving will be installing all new ADA compliant crosswalks at each intersection on Jackson Avenue, replacing severely damaged curbs. Phase 2 of the project will take place within weeks of Phase 1 and includes milling and paving of the entirety of Jackson Avenue by the contractor Schifano Construction. After the street is paved, we will have a contractor install enhanced striping. So another road will be down in the books. And I think we'll be over 80% of Dunellen paved at that point.
It's got to be pretty close to that.
Okay, I'm waiting to hear 100. Okay, I will note, I saw some on Facebook, not that we always want to take everything on Facebook and make a full discussion at council meeting because individuals belong coming to the council meeting and airing their concerns. But I think it's important to note, Center Street, we have noticed that signs have come up that you can't park on the Piscataway side. So Mr. Miller is reaching out to Piscataway to understand the reasoning behind that. And depending upon that reasoning, what type of advocacy and action we need to take on our side to make sure that all that parking that would be on Piscataway doesn't filter over now to the Dunellen side. So more to report on that, but I just wanted the council and those who shared concerns publicly that we are aware of it and we are seeking to find answers in how we take action. So, okay. I'll note the July 14th storm on top of the July 3rd. I just want to extend thanks to the many volunteers that came out that night to help those in need, from OEM office and search team underneath the leadership of our coordinator, Homer Mosley, to the police department, to the rescue squad, to the fire department, and of course, Red Cross, who was a big help that evening. Be safe, guys. Big help that evening and the subsequent days. Mr. Miller, who was out that evening, Council President Sigmund, who came out and helped at the shelter. It was a lot to see that night and the days afterwards, but in true Dunellen fashion, the community came together, and we saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we saw our volunteers coming together and our paid emergency services as well, and of course the DPW, who has been nonstop on cleaning up trees and debris and rubbish at the curbside. We appreciate everyone's patience as we do that, but we do want to thank those and give a round of applause to those who have taken their time and energy to support the community during those vulnerable hours during the storm, but also the days that followed it. Thank you to everyone involved, and we give you a round of applause. Which does lead me to discuss the Greenbrook Flood Control Project. I just want to extend thanks to the Greenbrook Flood Control Commission underneath the chairmanship of Ray Murray. They've had a lot of advocacy and success in securing funding over the years. I think now over just $700 million now for the project. Mr. Miller and I attended the memorial service they had over the weekend in Middlesex for those who have died in past storms, and now in memory of those who died during the current storms. And Edward, Mr. Miller, Edward, what was his name from Army Corps?
Moronsky.
He was there. He's our representative from the Army Corps for the project. There were many representatives from other towns that were there questioning, and the news is this. They still have to finish parts of Middlesex, a pump station then coming in around the high school area, and then the I, K, and J, which is Greenbrook, Dunellen, and parts of Plainfield and North Plainfield, I believe. They're not anticipating that for another 10 years. So we have to find a means on how we ramp up our advocacy and support for the Greenbrook Flood Control Commission to find the necessary means possible to push that project further along faster, or alternate means in which they can assist us in short-term flood mitigation. So there's a lot of obstacles that come with that. The DEP doesn't want you dredging the rivers and the brooks because they're concerned about the soot and contamination that would ultimately lead to the Raritan River. I would argue it's already contaminated enough, but that's a personal opinion. So what's a few other contaminations when you have people being pushed out of their homes and lives at risk? Ocean filters itself. So there's issues there. We're looking at means of how do we work with our county forms of government on cleaning up around some of the culverts and the bridges that are around, because they said we have more flexibility and jurisdiction to do that than dredging other areas. So we ask for patience as we try to go through this. I'm just delivering the news as it was delivered to us, and how we can, at the local level, do what we have to do. Am I missing anything else that was discussed?
I mean, along the way, they were talking about they had some changes of plans because they want to make sure that what they're going to be doing is going to be good enough. And the Army Corps of Engineers did come by a couple days after the flooding, and I met with them and showed them the heights of the water that we had, which was pretty similar to the height of Ida in McCoy Park. So we're gathering data from all the, neighboring areas of the flood damage and making sure it all matches up. And
Yeah, the Army Corps said the biggest holdup when they finally get past their engineering plans and approvals is properties, individuals who don't want to sell part of their property or their entire property if it needed for the project to go through. So if the Army Corps knocks on your door or sends you a letter to do an assessment of where the levees or the walls are going to go in Dunellen, for the sake of lives and flood mitigation, we kindly ask that you allow them to assess the property and where the proposed project is going, and take into serious consideration if you want a full or partial buyout of your parcel, in order for the project to go through. Because there are some properties in which entire properties will have to be bought out for it to come through. Many of those we've been able to accomplish buyouts through Blue Acres funding. And then there's some properties in which they're only going to need backsides of properties to buy out, in which, we have to assess whether Blue Acres is an appropriate program for those means. But it's going to be a journey, but we are making sure our advocacy efforts stay on top. And it's not a doom or gloom, or this is the reality that this is just what it's going to be. We just have to continue making the argument that there's other ways in which we can help with flood mitigation. So, but the ultimate thing is to thank you to those who step up every single time when we have one of these issues, and tragedies at times. We thank them for their service. So, I'll end on that. Thank you for your service to those who show up every time that the alarm goes off. So thank you. Without further ado, I have nothing else on my report. Department heads, legal,
Thank you, Mayor. No report.
IT, clerk, registrar, administration.
I just want to follow up on the conversation that what you just said, Mayor and Councilman Sigmund, the volunteers, the last month with the July 3rd, the no-name storms, July 3rd and 14th, have been really trying, and it's just, as horrible as it was, it's good to see the teamwork of all the emergency services and all the hard work that they put into it, and Public Works. My hats off. It just, everybody stepped up, and it was a challenging time, but thank you very much. You guys did a great job.
Yep.
That's all I got to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Olson, Finance Department. Okay. Lieutenant, anything from PD?
Yeah. Project now, and if the parts are sold out,
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Miller addressed the concerns with it. There's policies and procedures and how items get on the agenda. And we just ask that they're followed. No, you don't have to get in the middle, but I think if Chief Smith wanted that on record, I think it's appropriate we put our comment on record too. So, thank you. Mr. Mosley.
The fire department, DPW, the good news is that we have surpassed threshold to ask the president for a declaration of disaster. What that means is that we can give a lot of money based on our activity, so the use of equipment and the use of personnel. So it's essential that, I've heard of all those wonderful fire department. We need to be able to work that up in terms of labor force as well as each machinery represents $1,000. So, council and I is working on that.
Yep.
We need that. So again, the fact that it's surpassed it, so in phase 2, we want to capture every dollar.
Yes, Mr. Mosley, thank you for that reminder. It skipped my mind. We have met that threshold. I think we're now in excess of 23 million overall. So that triggers the state to be able to apply to the federal government, and a letter is being prepared for our federal representatives as well as President Trump to advocate for him to say yes to those fundings and Congress. So just so you're aware. And we have to do our job to make sure we're maintaining those allocations of funds.
What they have, some figure, we're going to submit it, and then we, we're in the system, and okay, so the other thing is that we have department, and it's actually close to about 10,000 in data. Okay, and another thing was the day of the fall that they are going to have 2025 grant stuff, in the village. Where that came down to usually I was at the application prior, like May, and there was some question that not going on, that had that available. So the good news is that they are going to have 5, I'll be able to find another $2,000. The bad news is we're expediting the process, but work that through. We just National Night Out, William, explained that this year we're trying to decide, like the COVID, would be the term that was about the family or the pets. One of the things that we realized that shelter is that we had some pets, and of course they do not have people. So we got to try to emphasize which we bring people that want to come into the shelter with pets versus cases, etc. So we're going to do like a good demonstration, that again, it's already, she already mentioned the fact that everybody responds to PPR, they training, basically, back to certification. So that's another way to put the parents, versus operation.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
And thanks to the park, especially in personage for Steve Coffey, who really put a lot of time into the girl, that is like a home relationship with bringing for the home training. He also assisted, as you know, with remembering that both the mayor, myself, you also help to establish a park, basically multiple resources for the citizens, who know with 26 borough library. And you did mention the fact that they can't stuff the college residents something hard about the system. On the other note, I'd like to thank the sponsors and listeners for again coming to our aid together with shelter. This was basically became a reception center and turned into shelter. After we had 18 days overnight on top. And with that, I would like to thank Councilman Pro Sigmund, who actually assisted us from there. Joe Cummins, who actually was the shelter manager, and Lee Talent, who was from our church members that also assisted that shelter operation. July 14th. July 3rd, we made a little favor from Firehouse and had the food shelter at the high school, and Chuck Lopez, without getting put that on as a shelter manager, on the member, Allen, Ingrid, Franco, and Sharon Stewart. When they were ready, we didn't see everybody that post that road. Yeah. Well, I think that's it.
Okay, Mr. Mosley, thank you. Thank you. And again, as you noted, thank you to St. John's Roman Catholic Church and then the school district for allowing us to use their space as shelters during both storms. Okay, no other comments from council or department heads. We do not have any council discussion on the agenda. So item number 8 is public comments. We'll open the floor to the public for any comments or questions, either in chambers or online. We ask that you please state your name and address. One last call to the public. Any comments or questions, either online or in chambers, please state your name and address and ask your comment. Oh, Mr. Mosley.
Tragedy and well, my neighbor next door, the house was demolished by Law Street. One of them took out a quarter of the house, the other one took out with the roof in which they had a child. And the child was unharmed with sexual abuse. But they had actually three over the child and wanted to rescue the child. So that's unfortunate. One of the things I have to be concerned about is, I know that this is a matter of insurance. Taking care of that house. To me, the house is like needs to be demolished for the family. So I am concerned with the needs of the house, especially being at the line as well. But the big situation, possible fire hazard. And I'm just wondering, is there any time limit in terms of them doing something to that property? If there's something on statute or ordinance or course,
I'm sure there's a statute in terms, I don't know if our vacated ordinance comes into place because this is a different type of circumstance. It's not by choice they abandoned it.
Right.
And it's Mr. Robertson would have to.
Ordinance, borough construction official to review property this process of which they will to its back to provide. Yeah, but again, I understand the use of time. I just don't want to be looking at that something now. I'll still be.
Well, I think Mr. Miller can talk to our construction officials and they can check with the property owners and maybe see where they're at in the insurance process so we can follow their appropriate procedure. Sounds good? Thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions from the public? Joe?
Okay, hold up here.
Okay. I don't know if everybody knows, once upon a time, Joe was sitting where you guys are sitting. Former councilman. What was that? Oh, well. Hopefully it's due to our efficiency. Anyway. Okay, without hearing any of your comments or questions from the public, we'll close that portion of the meeting. We do have a resolution, 302, to enter an executive session. So can I have a motion? I'm just going to read out a motion and second on resolution 302 to enter an executive session. Be it resolved by the governing body of the Borough of Dunellen, New Jersey, that whereas the Open Public Meetings Act NJSA 10-4-6 permits the closing of meetings to the public under certain circumstances, and whereas there exists such a circumstance, and whereas authorizing the Borough Council to go into executive session to discuss litigation after which action may be taken. And whereas minutes of the executive session will be kept and will be released when the matters under discussion during executive session are no longer confidential. Therefore, be it resolved that the Borough Council will enter into executive session. Once we have a motion in a second.
Move it, Rios.
Goes Councilwoman Rios. Do we have a second?
Second, Sigmund?
Council President Sig. Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund,
Yes.
and Mr. Vandermark.
Yes.
Okay, before we fully go offline, this will probably take about 30 minutes if those who wish to join us back online or in chambers. Okay. Thank you. For those who decide to go off, our next council meeting is September 2nd.
Yeah, I had to think about it, because I know I've been a little like picky and slow myself here.
Yeah.
And but I definitely respect you that you actually approach me. Tim came and asked me out. I was pretty surprised, just because he's such a reserved person, and so am I. I honestly didn't really think he was that interested in me, but I love quirky men, and he kind of brings that vibe. I'm like, hey, let's give it a try.
I actually feel like you and I have been clicking and connecting the past couple days. Asking May out is anxiety inducing because this is the first time I've asked her to go out in person in a decade. So when May finally said yes, I was just like, thank God I'm not gonna be the laughing stock tomorrow when everybody hears about this. It's gonna be fun.
See you later.
All right, bye-bye. So far I've not had success at the retreat, but now I have a date and I'm making some progress and I'm excited. Hey.
I was wondering if you were gonna hug me or not.
Of course I'm gonna hug you.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
So, about last night.
I felt like it all happened so fast. I feel like, and
You me good. You me so good.
no, I know it was amazing. I'm glad it happened.
I just feel like we have such a deep connection. I wasn't if it was any other guy here, I would never do that. But with you, I felt like it was just such a deep connection. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're in this position with Tiffany,
Right.
and the last thing I want is to be a Cole, Rob, Jen mess.
Yeah. I feel bad. I feel really bad about this. The
I know
whole
you
Tiffany
do.
thing.
I guess where does that leave us?
I mean, if you'd asked me this yesterday, I'm spending the rest of my time here with Tiffany. But I just feel in my heart I'm going to continue and be with one person. That it's got to be you.
Oh my God.
So, do you want to be with me for the rest of this?
Yeah, 100%. Are you gonna have a conversation with Tiffany?
I have to. And it's it breaks. I feel like it's going to break her heart. But I came here with the intention to be honest and communicate.
Okay, so you're gonna go talk to Tiffany and then come back and what?
Yes.
This is our boss.
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm super excited. Like, I feel like I can't be that excited until the conversation's done with Tiffany.
I mean, I'm super scared and super excited, but I'm excited to do this with you.
I feel like he's so nervous of letting her down and hurting her. Is he actually gonna say to her that one, and two,
Good, okay. We are back in our regular session after voting on resolution 303 to come back in. There is no further action this evening based upon resolution 302. So item number 16, yeah, is resolution 304 for adjournment. Can I have a motion and second, please?
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Scott.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay.